What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Comment Writers. We are a Kamen Rider review podcast, and we are here to talk about Kamen Rider Gotchard, Episode 8, the culmination of the cliffhanger from last episode. I'm your host, Josh Meek, the Uber Geek, and I'm joined, as always, by my good friend, Toby Tobes. How's it going, Toby?
Pretty good, Josh. Josh, here's my question for the week.
Okay.
Like an emailer, almost.
Yeah, Toby, long-time listener, first-time caller.
So let's say you're at a retail store.
I love retail stores. Ask me anything about retail stores. I go to them all the time.
Me too. Let's say that you're at customer service waiting for someone to take your return or do your I ordered shit online, I'm coming to pick it up thing.
Okay.
There's one person in front of you. That person is talking to the cashier. The process is going slow. There are 4 or 5 people behind you, and everyone starts getting pissed off because it's going entirely too slow. People are starting to get rowdy. They just want to make the returns. There's no help anymore because no one wants to get jobs, blah, blah, blah.
These dang kids don't want to work.
Exactly. Everyone starts getting rowdy behind you, and they start making comments like, this is fucked up. Call someone else for help if you can't do the work yourself, blah, 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 blah. Do you let yourself be roped in with the negative people who are just behind you, like raging against the machine? Or do you just try to stand there quietly and just hope your turn's almost here so you can run away?
God, no, I don't let myself get roped in. You just describing the people behind you in this hypothetical line made me hate them and made me want to not be involved in them or their situation. Like, the person that they're railing against is a person who's making like minimum wage at a Target or whatever, and they're like getting hounded by these idiots who showed up to the store and could do a million other things at this time and don't need to stand in this line but are just doing it. Like, just let the person do their job. It's not easy. You wouldn't be able to do it. Just everyone calm down. Like that's always my stance. So just like getting mad at like a waiter or getting mad at like a cashier. Like, I don't want to do the job this person is doing. Like, I like let them live. Like, I'm not upset. Now, if the person in the front of the line was just standing and talking to the cashier and they were just chit-chatting and no work was being done, like if they weren't proceeding with the transaction and were holding the line up just with a private personal conversation, then maybe I'd get like upset. I wouldn't do anything about it. I wouldn't change my behavior in any way, but it would annoy me. But if it's just like, the return process is taking a long time for some reason, then I'm probably not upset because that's just how the job works.
So I guess someone was renting a truck from Lowe's because like Home Depot and Lowe's let you rent flatbed to do like move stuff.
Yeah.
So there was some sort of weird barrier between the customer service lady, the person trying to rent the truck, and how to like process all the information properly. And she was trying to show him how to like use his cell phone to do an order or submit his email or something else.
Oh, that's the worst. Okay.
So I stood in line, just me, for 15 minutes because I know what time I got there. I know what time I finally walked out. So I was keeping myself entertained on my cell phone, but I always worry because like depending on what clothing I have on, not that my clothing are offensive, but like I was wearing my brand new Wonder Years jacket that says The Greatest Generation on the back. So people start like getting in line behind me and they're getting rowdy because this transaction is taking way too long. And I'm just like staring at my cell phone, like laughing at my friends' text messages or gambling because it was football Sunday and like trying to get shit done. So everyone's like, this is fucking bullshit. This is taking too long. And I just start thinking like, if someone asks me what my jacket's about, are they going to start asking me questions like, aren't I pissed off? Like, what the hell's going to happen here? So everyone behind me starts getting madder and madder. And I'm just standing there by myself, just staring at my phone, like, just leave me out of this. Some guy walks across like the front of the line and he's like, no one wants to work here, I guess, huh? And like laughs and looks at me. So then I feel like I have to smirk because I at least want to acknowledge like, okay, you said a thing. I don't want you to get mad at me. And then he goes to the back of the line and like he's like the new loudest one of all the riffraff. But I was there for 15 minutes waiting for one person line in front of me. All I wanted to do was pick up my light up ghost for the outside. And then on the way out, the guy was like, looks like someone's living the dream today. You finally got out, or something like along those lines.
I
And
hate
I
that
just
guy.
laughed, and I was like, I was here 15 minutes. I earned this, and I just kept walking.
Yeah, like I hate the unruly customer that tries to rope other people into their bullshit. That's the freaking worst. Like, or just anyone who like is loud in public and has an opinion and like forces me into a situation where I feel like I have to agree with their opinion. That is the ultimate worst person.
Like,
um
I don't want to have to agree, and I don't want to be part of all this. Like, I just want to be left alone. I don't want the nice lady to be like, "Oh, you're an asshole too." When I'm trying to like
right.
do things because I'm surely getting taken down as part of this, and no one needs that.
So I'm not a confrontation person, and I definitely am the person who would um who would who would who would try to not get into any fights whatsoever in public. But also there's a part of me, Toby, that is a confrontation person. And it's a very passive aggressive type of confrontation that I am interested in typically when that side of me rears its ugly head. And I think if the dude made a snide remark and then connected eyes with me to try to get me to like be on his side, that part of me would have flared up. And I don't think that I would have been able to fake the smirk. I think I would have had to do something that was way worse, and I would have had an enemy. And I don't know what I would have done in the moment, but I would have felt my blood boil at that point, and I would have had to be no, you just got here. I've there would have been something I would have had to have. I would have had to. So, sometimes I get in trouble, Toby, because I say things in public too loudly. Like typically it's in situations like this where someone else is being an asshole and I will be the counter asshole to that person. But then like my wife gets upset because then I like start confrontations. um but sometimes I feel like I'm the Robin Hood in public. That's like the alter Josh that comes out. That's opposite of the real Josh. He doesn't really get into confrontations, but yeah,
my thing
that's
is my thing is like, if I like I've had tons of customer services jobs in my life, so like I know how to like take all the shit that people heap on me and just try to like smirk it off. The only time I'll ever fire off at a customer service person is if I know I'm right, like either from working the same kind of job or like logistically I know I'm right. Then if they say anything I don't like, those are the main times I get like all like pissy and snappy and say
yeah,
like, well, I know this is how this works, this is what you should do. But other than that, I keep my head down. Their job probably sucks. I know
right.
my job sucks. Theirs is probably worse. Like, I'm not trying to make anyone's day any worse. You just let me go. Give me my ghost. I'll be out of here. Deal with the rest of the idiots.
That's always my thought. Like you're describing like she's like helping the person like use his phone and stuff. Like I'm sure that's a terrible interaction for her. I'm like she's not having any fun doing this, and like I'm sure she internally knows how long you've waited, in the line, and she probably is thinking like, at what point do I like cut this person off, like the first person in line, and tell him like, sir, you need to step to the side. Like she's probably going through that logic in her head, and it's probably like causing so much stress. Even when like a customer service person or like someone is like rude to me in a situation like that, or it feels like they're rude to me or like they're not listening, like I still will typically go to the like, yeah, but this job sucks. Like they're probably rude to me because like the 10 people before me were complete assholes or
It's
were
not
like,
directly my fault. It's just it's the build
yeah,
up.
it's like I would want to behave that way too. Like if this was my job, like I always try to err on the side of like, yeah, this probably sucks though. Like it really sucks that you have to do this, and it really sucks that I'm here and having to make you do this, and here we are.
We're on the same team somehow
Yeah.
deep
Hey
down.
man. That's always there was a when I was in grad school, we had a department. She was like a secretary sort of person, but she was like she kind of kept books and stuff for the department, and she was like in charge of the office of the department, and she was insufferable. This woman, my first interaction with her was before I even got there to go to school there. I had to call, and I needed something. It was some form or something, whatever. It was a minor thing, and she made me feel so little and so stupid because I didn't know how their stupid goddamn bureaucracy worked, and I didn't know that he needed to talk to someone else first before I went and talked to her, whatever dumb thing it was, right? It was like she could have easily helped me, but instead she made me feel dumb, and then she only half helped me. So at that moment, like I'm like sitting at home, I know I'm gonna be in the same department as this woman soon, and she like becomes my enemy. But I decide, like, I'm gonna have to interact with this woman a lot over the next what ended up being 3 years, as I worked there for a year. It was like, okay, I'm gonna try to kill her with kindness. So for 2 solid years with this woman, I hated her to my very core. But every time I interacted with her, it became a game for me where I tried to see how nice I could be to her. And I like completely went over the top with it, Toby. It was just like, oh, hey, how's your day going today? And I would force her to talk to me, and I would chit chat with her when she clearly was not interested in it. And I would just go on and on and on about every time I saw her, like making sure I would talk to her and be super, super nice. After 2 years, I was the only person she liked, Toby. It worked. Suddenly she was not mean to me anymore. She would talk to me. Everyone else she was still horrible to. But my 2 years of work that I put in paid off. But yeah, there you go. You catch more flies with honey than you do with vinegar.
So I know I told you as a human this story before. It might have been on like when we did Geek Pop all the time or just conversationally. At one of my jobs, there was a manager who wasn't my manager, and she was always bossy and snippy with everybody. So much in that same vibe, I would always smirk and make a nice comment to her that I didn't mean. I'd be like, "Oh, Jen, you look nice today," or "Oh, hey, Jen, how's your day going?" And one of the days, she said something stupid to me, or she had a pissy look on her face and came up to me, and I was like, "Hey, Jen, you look nice today," or like something vague like that. Like it wasn't like it wasn't sexual harassment here. It was just me like a very like benign comment. So she looked at me, and I think there's other people around, and she was like, "I know you're doing that just to be a smartass." So then I just laughed, and I was like, "Oh no, I don't know." And then she was like, "Can you just help me?" I was like, "Sure."
I am.
You caught on.
That's great. See, I think it worked for me because this woman only knew me as this, like from because I had that first phone call with her. I knew what she was like, but she didn't know me at all. So she just thought I was just like a super friendly person from the very beginning, right? Like she didn't know that I was playing a character. Yeah, she didn't know that I was undercover as a nice person. But sometimes it works out. Sometimes it doesn't. In your case. Toby, speaking of not working out, you may be able to hear, I am sick today.
I hear noises, all sorts of
yeah. So noises. Apologies if anyone hears like nose blowing, which you're about to hear in just a moment. But yeah, for the past I'll say 5 hours, Toby, I've slowly been coming down with the sickness. Thank you. Yeah, it's where you fill that in. That's perfect. But let's jump over, Toby, to some emails for this podcast of ours.
Let's get some sick emails going.
Yeah. I'm gonna get so gnar on this podcast because of how sick I am. It's gonna be great. Our email this week comes in from our friend Shade. Shade says, "I've returned."
Does Shade hate Gotchard again now, or is Shade still pro Gotchard?
I believe Shade is pro Gotchard.
Okay, just one double check.
Shade has other info for us. Shade was anti some things last time we spoke, if you remember. Shade was anti the Disney Imagination Belt.
Which is silly.
Which is a thing that we will get to here. Shade says, "I've returned again."
Shade says, "I now own a Imagination driver. It's the coolest thing ever. I love it so much."
Not that turn. Shade says, "For some reason, they decided to do all the freaking announcements when I'm busy playing Marvel Snap, so I guess I'm multitasking them then." So Shade is on the Marvel Snap train, first of all, which I appreciate. Toby, I'm like 93. I'm almost to infinity
and beyond.
Yep, that's what I'm going for. I'm trying to play a Galactus deck right now, a Galactus and a Goliath deck.
Do you eat the planets and stuff or no?
You do, yeah. So Galactus is a card where if you play him and he's the only card you have in that lane, and he beats the other team's power total in that lane, you destroy the other locations. So he deletes 2 other planets basically, and he leaves just the planet that he's currently on.
So that sounds like almost like insta win card.
That's typically how people use it. Yeah. So you would likely play him either turn 5 or 6, which are the last 2 turns of the game. And if you're playing him turn 5, it's usually because you have some sort of like instant win card you're going to play on turn 6. So that's the Eliath card where you play it and it deletes whatever cards your opponent played that turn. So you can go turn 5 Galactus, blow everything up. Turn 6 Eliath, delete whatever they play. And that's a fun way to win the game.
And that's a game.
Yeah. Usually, if you Galactus on turn 5, though, people retreat, which means you don't get your full cubes. You don't get to win 4 cubes. You only get to win 2 cubes if you'd snap. So, it's less of a win at that point. But you got to be sneaky sometimes. You got to get your Galactus in on turn 6 so they don't see it coming.
You got to trick them.
You got to trick them. You got to trick them. That really is what Marvel Snap is about. It's figuring out how you can successfully trick people, and when it works, and when both players snap, and when you win 8 cubes, like you fully tricked them, they thought they were going to win, but instead you win. That is maybe the best feeling in gaming. When you know that you have fully and completely bested another human being. That is what it's about. It must be what people like about sports. There must be the same feeling.
Yeah, you just feel great. You're like, yeah. I outsportsed you with these cards.
Yeah, I sportsed you so hard. Shane goes on and says, first off, during Josh's rant about his love for trains, all I could think of was there's a perfect Sentai show for this situation. Resha Sentai Tokuger. It's literally a Sentai about trains, so there's an opportunity for you to combine 2 of your hobbies.
Is that the one where the wiener train comes from?
I think so. I'm actually not sure where the wiener train comes from now that you say that out loud. Tokuger, I've not watched it. One, I don't love the outfits though. That's my only negative about Tokuger that I've seen so far. Is the outfits are just not. They're not that cute. Not that into them. But maybe the show's great because trains. I'll have to check it out. I'm surprised, Shane, that you didn't suggest that I watch Den-O, which is the Kamen Rider that's about trains, basically. Has a train. So, get on the ball, I guess, is what I'm saying.
Get better emails.
Shane goes on to say, remember the last time when you guys talked about the Disney Imagination Belt and the display screen being really cool and stuff? Well, the reason why I'm so apprehensive about it is because, one, not gonna lie, it really is kind of lame considering the cost, and the Vision Driver screen is way cooler than that. And 2, because I knew this baby was coming. They recently announced new info for Kamen Rider Faiza's 20th anniversary film. Most of the cast is coming back too. Now, Faiz, which came out in 2004, was a Kamen Rider that transforms using a flip phone. So, how would you update him to the modern day? The obvious thing to do, of course, is give him a smartphone. So, Shane links some videos for a driver that they're putting out for the movie here, where essentially he has a smartphone now. It has app icons and a touchscreen, and it fits into kind of the center of the belt. And it's like the Disney driver, but, a little bit more advanced.
It's advanced because it's an actual screen and not just pre-built 8-bit graphics.
Yeah, exactly. Now, I will say, this driver still has that look that toy phones do. So picture smartphone, if you will, where the screen portion is much smaller than the frame portion of the toy, and then it's also too thick. This has that same vibe where the actual screen area is very small compared to the bezel, the frame of the device. And then it's a little too thick and it has a weird handle on it. So it ends up looking to me like a fish finder,
awesome.
the thing you'd mount on your boat. Yeah. And it looks like that. So the vibes are a little weird, I feel like, on the Faiz driver here. And also, the flip phone that he used in the original series is actually really cool. I wish they would have just kept the flip phone. Just keep rolling with it. I mean, he's already a superhero who used a cell phone to transform. Like, it's not gonna get cooler if you make it a smartphone. It's still lame. He's still using a cell phone. Like, just keep the flip phone. I don't know. Because also, like, the flip phone turns into his gun and stuff, and now the now the stupid smartphone has to turn into his gun. It's just like there's a lot of things you have to update when he could have
Or
just
or keep them exactly the same, and people judge it and say this is silly.
yeah. I'm saying it's silly. I'm saying the technology looks good, but I think the phone doesn't look amazing. Because I'm holding a device literally to compare it to in my hand, right? Like at least with a flip phone, like it's so far removed from those that I forget what they look like. But this I can compare it. I can say, well, that looks like a toy compared to my smartphone that I'm holding.
My smartphone doesn't do this. This is bullshit.
Yeah. What are we doing? Why does my smartphone not transform into into a Kamen Rider? I suspect these drivers will be very expensive. that's my guess here because they have the actual like touch screen on them. But then Shane goes on to say, Fies has always had one of, if not the best designs in Kamen Rider. So if I'm not entirely surprised that they were able to engineer something like this, but you got to admit this is leagues above any Disney Imagination belt. Disagree. I refuse to admit that.
See, he keeps dunking on the belt. Shade has to buy one of the belts, and he'll feel better about all this, I think.
Yeah, I think so. He needs to own a Disney Imagination belt. On the topic of anniversary films, Tokuso. There we go. We got there. Tokuso Sentai Deca Ranger, the counterpart of Power Rangers SPD, have just announced their 20th anniversary film. The funny thing is, everyone is not even surprised. The casting characters of Deca Ranger have returned so many times that everyone just expected them to make a movie. And it helps that Deca Ranger is one of the most popular seasons in Japan. It's also Shane's favorite, so obviously he's happy. Anyway, on to some Gotchard stuff. So we had looked at this before, Joby, but they are making Kemi toys. Do you remember those?
When did we look at them? I remember I found a Hopper toy, but I don't remember seeing other ones.
Yep, that's the vibe. Yeah, the Hopper toy, where they're like little playthings of the Kemis as the I guess creature versions of the Kemis, not the cards. I think they're super cute. So yeah, they actually have some more like videos of them now that they're unboxed and stuff. And I think the Hopper is exactly as cool as you thought it was. There's some video of the smartphone that you can get, and the smartphone turns into a little person, which is fun. I'm scrubbing. There you go. Yeah. So it pops out arms, pops out legs, and it has a little person mode. Little face pops up. And really, as silly as I think Smartphone is in the show, I think he's a pretty cool thing to sit on a shelf.
If I could own one, it would definitely be way cooler, is what you're saying.
Yeah. And then you have the little Hopper one and the little Steamliner. And I think they're both very cool. I like this avenue for toys for the show. Because, like these are things that like bounce around in the show. And like as a kid, it'd be cool to have your own little Hopper one that you could put in your backpack and take with you. And that's kind of neat, right?
Yeah, you bring Hopper to school and you have him talk while you're taking tests. And
exactly.
Maybe you're making a delicious meal for a friend of yours.
Maybe, yeah. Making a burger bento box and you love it. And you can even stick the cards inside of Hopper One's back and it makes his wings flap, which is very cool.
Sounds like a good way to break the card or bend it.
It really does. You're right.
or separate the cardboard from the picture because it's usually like layered. And it's just going to peel away and then Hopper's going to die because of you playing with Hopper.
I think you're right. Shane says these are actually kind of cute. Hope they make more of these in the future. Yeah, I agree. I think if a season warrants it, I like that they're thinking outside the box in terms of toys. Because usually with the Kamen Rider, you get the action figures, right? You get the like action figures of the Kamen Rider in various forms, like the cheap ones and the expensive ones. You get the driver, you get a few weapons, you get the sword, you get the gun, whatever it might be. But I like here, it's like, oh, you get a little creature, you get a little Pokemon dude. Like that's fun. Where we don't normally see that category of toy, I guess.
Yeah, it's the thing you can maximize the most. This is a prime opportunity to do lots and lots of plastic junk, so they might as well.
Yeah, I guess when you look at it cynically like that, it's like, yeah, it's just more stuff you can sell somebody. That's true. Shane says the new phase 2 of the Kemi cards were revealed. You guys can check out the card website to get a little preview of some of them. And here's some cool variants of Legend Rider cards. So we looked at these in our Discord actually a little bit. Were the ones that you didn't realize that the Kuga card said Kuga.
Listen, reading's hard, and it
Reading
didn't
is
look like I
challenging.
said Kuga. I was up very early that day. I was hours in. I did a quick scan, even though like so the ones they have the cards for. I feel like there's a staple 10 or 15 common riders. Like whenever there's like we're gonna do throwbacks to older things, I feel like there's like a steady group. Like X-Aid's usually there, Kuga, Ghost, uh Agito, whatever his name is.
Agito.
Whatever, yeah. So like I feel like they're always there. Like they're always the staple groups of throwbacks where people are like always showing up. So when I sped read the bad print font whatever on that card, I was like, okay, I see all the other classics. I was like, no Kuga. This is fantastic. Some people have to hear about this. And of course I was wrong as always.
The trick was they were just in chronological order in the image that we looked at. So Kuga was
And
just
that's what I thought about
the
after.
first one.
But
Yeah. It was the from I guess the reboot of Kamen Rider is the word I'm looking for. The reboot when Kuga came back. Yeah. I think these looked awesome. I think these are some of the best like cool designs that they've done. I said in our Discord, but like they look a lot to me like the gold special Pokemon cards that you pull sometimes, like
yeah.
where it's like the full art, gold border, all crazy looking, which is like the highest praise that I could put on these things. Like they look like they were designed by a company that like specifically does this as like their main business. And of course the X-Aid one is my favorite because it just looks like a Game Boy. I think that's a really really cool looking one. And then Shade finishes up with some news about Gotchard and Geets, the crossover movie. Again, we looked at the first image from this movie in the Discord, but if you guys haven't seen it, it's called The Winter Movie. That's what the current subtitle is for this crossover film. In Japan, it comes out December 22nd, and the poster is very simple, very stark, and it is just a nine-tailed fox with a Hopper one on its head. It's a cute little animated version of that. There's some Chemi cards flying around. But how are you feeling about that as a teaser image?
It's what I would have to expect would happen here, but I'm ready. I think there's a lot of potential for what they could do with this. If they're gonna make like Hopper and I don't know if there's a name for the fox, but if they make the fox the thing, like they could be friends and a 1 and a 9 get together, as you know, and
Oh, I hadn't even really considered until you said that. But if they make like a Fox Chemi, that'd be very cool.
I feel like they have to. Like I feel like that's the only real. If you're mixing these two stories up or these people together,
Yeah,
I feel like they have to do the Fox Chemi, and then Hopper and the Fox have to merge together.
I'm into it. I like it. Well, they're going to put out some special cards for the movie. Shade tells us they're going to release a card book and exclusive cards for the movie. So the book is like a binder. You can put your cards in. One side it has Geets and it has Gotchard in the normal Kamen Rider forms, and the other side it has that adorable Hopper Fox combo. And then there's going to be cards that feature the human forms of Geets and Gotchard, and then a card that is the Fox and Hopper one on its head. That you can have that in card form. So yeah, special. These are all EX cards, so they don't have a number. They just say EX in the corner.
It's just a thing.
Yeah, so
It's
they're
just a thing.
it's like an X-Aid when they do level X. It's like outside the number realm. These are just like EX. All right, so that's our email from Shade. Thank you very much, Shade, for sending in that info. And that's going to do it for emails for us. If you want to be like Shade here and send us in an email about anything you want to say about the episodes, any info you want to bring us, any funny stories you want to tell us, feel free to send those along to cast@commonwritersucks.com. And tell me with that brings us to discussion of Gotchard episode 8.
Ooh.
Why don't you catch the people up briefly on what was happening last episode?
Last time, we met an adorable little cactus named Sabo or Sabo Needle. He belongs to a boy, and this boy doesn't really know what to do with the plant, but he loves the plant. And then the plant turned into a card, and Hodoro blasted into the sky with him because that's the only way he could fight. Was it a dragonfly?
Yeah, the dragonfly amalgam. Yep.
The dragonfly Magam. And then while they were in the air, they were dueling. And then Sabo decided, you know what, fuck this, I don't really want to do this that much. And he jumped out of the driver. And then Hodoro was falling to his doom.
Yeah, we had a little big cliffhanger ending. Hodoro falling to his doom, saying, "Oh shit, oh shit, oh shit." We didn't talk about that last time, but he was 100% saying, "Oh shit," right?
He had to be.
Because they captioned it as crap, but he's saying shit. I'm pretty sure he's saying shit in English.
You're saying bad words, that's for sure.
If anyone out there knows for sure that he was saying what he was saying as he was falling, whatever they were captioning as well crap in the version we watched, I'd love to know if he was actually just cursing in English, because that's pretty incredible. But yeah, so we have the little cliffhanger. This episode opens not resuming that right away, but instead we open on Kudo. And if you remember from last episode, the little girl of the Abyssal Sisters had kind of approached her and asked her if she wanted to play a game. And we continue their little interaction. So basically, the gist here is that the sister, the little girl, is kind of taunting Kudo, telling her that her dad is still alive and she wants to play a game with her. And
just like Saw.
Yes, exactly. And as soon as Kudos kind of starts to get a little aggressive, the young girl basically starts to yell out kind of mockingly, like, I'm being bullied. And then she uses her little ring to mind control everyone else in the cafe to kind of come to her aid. So she's really just
hilarious how it works, because she's like 6. So it works that she's like, I'm a small child and this adult's yelling at me.
Yeah. Please help me. Please help me. And they all stand up. Clearly they're all under her control. So she's just really showing, she's trying to show Kudo her true power, I think, here at this point. And,
you skipped the whole scene, Josh, just so you know.
What did I skip? Hit me with it.
When Hodoro turns into a whale motorcycle and doesn't die.
Yet.
That happens way before the thing you're talking about.
Okay, sorry. Mixed them up. So yes, he's okay. He falls first then. My bad. Yes. Yeah, and he saves himself by he quickly throws in what cards? He throws in the whale card, right?
Yeah,
and the motorcycle card.
He turns into Spiceful Whale.
Yeah.
As per the words on my screen right now.
So it's a giant whale, like huge too, by the way, like towers over trees.
And then he blows water out of his spout to blast the monster away. And I laugh because I was like, this is as good as like Horse Sword and Giraffe Sword back in the day.
It really is. And
but
then
it's Gonvale and Spicel or Spickle or
Spickle Whale. Yeah. Which let's see. When did he get those? I don't even remember when he got those.
They don't really show it. Like,
yeah.
It's probably a deleted scene we don't really know about. And it's like, because in order to get all the chemis on the show, they've been playing fast and loose with let's just put more cards in people's hands.
That's true.
And then he did it. It just worked.
And then he opens like a trap door in the bike, which doesn't make a ton of sense, and like gets Riku, the little boy, in there so they can run away.
He eats him.
He does eat him. He does eat him as a bike. Yeah, maybe one of the weirder wild forms, I will say, is the giant whale bike. But whatever works for him. It was quick thinking, Toby. Quick thinking.
It was a genius move.
Yeah.
And if he was a gamer, I would call him a genius gamer. But that'd be too much of a reference to a different show. Luckily,
he's not, that we know of.
Not yet.
He mostly is into cooking terrible food. But let's see. Now you got me all mixed up here with my notes.
Good.
So they run off the duo there, Hodoro and Riku, and they get to safety finally. And um, basically, they have a little conversation then from that point, and you find out that essentially Hotaro was right about Riku. He really didn't want to get rid of Sabo Needle. He's friends with him, and um, he's nicknamed him Sabosuke, I guess. Yeah, he's given him a little pet name, and his answer was basically like, you know, I don't really do much. I don't have any friends. I study all the time. So he was really my only friend. This cactus.
I appreciate the fact that like they made a nice hard plastic Sabo toy for the kid to walk around with and talk to and pal around
Yeah.
with. So that definitely seems like an easy sell of like, hey, buy this fake toy cactus for only $29.99.
I mean, the cactus is very cute. I would buy a little toy cactus. It was
Yes, so would
adorable.
I.
Yeah. But unfortunately, when Riku's dad found out that he was, starting to slack a little bit in his studies because of his friendship, or at least seemingly because of his friendship with Sabosuke, his dad told him he had to get rid of the cactus. No more cactus, everybody. So Riku did what his father had told him to do, or started to, and then decided that Hodoro was maybe the better keeper of the cactus guy. But Riku tells him that Sabosuke, the Sabo Needle, was weak and shy, which is, I guess, the explanation for why he jumped out of the driver. It was just too high for him, and he was scared.
Probably thought he was going to die up there, and he's like, the hell with this. I need to go back and hide again.
Yeah, why am I going to help this weird guy who just, like, I don't even know. I'm not going to sit here in this driver. I'm out of here. Out of here, man. Then we find out a new function of smartphone, Toby. We find out that it can track chemis, which seems very useful.
just like the fish finder you always wanted.
Exactly. Yeah, it is very fish finder like. So yeah, we work on tracking some chemis down, and then we head back to the academy, and this is where the other knuckleheads get involved, basically. So we start to see them. We kind of flash back and forth a little bit, but Spanner, I guess the gist here is Spanner is very much like not down with anything that's happening. He's not down with like the Chemi friendship that's going on. He's not down with like having Riku be involved with the Chemi, and like he knows that Hodoro wants them to stay friends, and he at some point kind of guilts Kudo about this too. He's like, kind of tells her like, yeah, you're
talking
also,
to idiots still.
Yeah, exactly. You need to stop putting up with this. You need to stop going along with this, taking a side. And that clearly like affects her too. Like she definitely realizes, or you could see her think about it. And then later she like doesn't run out to go help Hodoro, clearly because of what Spanner said. So the love triangle is still in full effect, Toby.
That's not as dramatic as it could have been for the triangle part, so I'm gonna allow it still. This one gets a pass this week.
Yeah, it's not overt, and it's just her being like a little affected by what he's saying. Like she clearly cares about his opinion. For as much as she's like stood up to him in the past, like clearly the things he says to her matter to her, which I think is interesting. Now, Toby, we get introduced to Riku's dad. Of course, we knew a little bit about him, but he shows up now to confront Riku, and we get into an argument, and he transforms into the Malgam.
That's the best part. He got so mad that they transformed.
Yeah,
you're talking to that damn plant so much, and just boom, turns into a monster.
Just turns straight into the monster. And he's the dragonfly. He's a real jerk, I think, this dad, personally.
This kid likes one thing and one thing only. And he's like, fuck this is stupid. you can't have this.
Exactly. And at first, of course, Hodoro thought that the Malgam was targeting Riku, targeting the kid. Hodoro thought he was protecting the kid. And of course, we have the realization that the Malgam not targeting the kid at all. It's his son. Instead, he's going after Hodoro. He's going after the Kamen Rider, because he's the one other thing who is taking his son away from his studies, who's preventing him from going to cram school, and
You're having too much fun.
yeah,
You're the bad one.
having too much fun with your nearly adult friend at this point. The Sawo Needle shoots some needles at the Malgam, like tries to defend Riku, and is clearly he's gotten his resolve. He's no longer a scaredy card. He's ready to fight, Toby.
He's a tough guy now.
Yes. Hodoro tries to say, "Hey, I only want what's best for Riku," but no, they have to fight.
Fighting's the only solution in this world.
That's true.
Shit has to get done.
Answer with your fists. And speaking of answering with your fists, one of the other Abyssal sisters, I don't remember which one she is, but she shows up, and she also is going to transform and do some fighting. She has the Happy Clover card.
It was hard to tell what that card was actually supposed to be. It just looked very soft and silly for what she is and what it turns into.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. I'm not super clear on how they can just transform with random cards still, because like the other cards require humans and human malice, and they're not humans. They maybe have a lot of malice, but like they could just force Kemis to transform. I guess they could just use a card, just be like, "Boop, I'm this now."
She turned into a fancy poison ivy, basically.
She did, yeah. She has like vines that she can stretch around things, and yeah, she seems like an evil poison ivy, an eviler poison ivy. I know poison ivy's evil. But Spanner shows up to fight her. So Spanner finally enters the battlefield.
He wants shit. He wants shit to get taken care of.
He does.
And the only way to get taken care of is if he does it himself.
And he has had a subplot within the last couple episodes now, where he is trying to figure out what the sisters are after, because he knows there's more to them than what they're seeing. He knows that they're not just trying to make these Malgams because they want the driver, that they want that, and it's not really getting them closer to the driver. So he knows that there's probably more to what they're doing. So he's really attacking her, trying to figure out what they're planning. But it doesn't work, unfortunately. We can't tell him yet. It's only episode 8. Let's see. From there, they get of course the vines cut off. The sister runs away, and the Malgam finally gets taken down. The battle ends, Toby. After that, we have a little confrontation, I guess, with the father. Have like the final scene with the father, and he has remorse. He apologizes to his son. Basically, he's come around on things.
I guess you can have friends. I guess that's okay.
Guess I pushed you too hard, and the thing that taught me that I pushed you too hard was that your new friend beat me up for a while.
There's no better way to do it.
Sometimes like the wrap-ups in this show are like a little too perfect, I realized, is the feeling I'm having. Like, so in this one, Hodoro gets in trouble, basically. Like, his teacher kind of tells him, like, "Hey, we're going to take points off because of what you did." And Riku kind of decides that, like, you should still keep Samo Needle. Like, it makes sense for you to still have it. You to have the card. And it's like, well, it's convenient that you decide that, because now we don't have to breach the whole topic of like humans should be able to keep Kemis, right? Like we didn't have to have that fight here because you made the decision that let us not have that fight. And that continues to happen every week, where clearly we are meeting humans and we're meeting people where Hodoro thinks they should be able to keep their Kemi friends, but then they just decide not to by the end of the episode.
They're working on something here.
Yeah. One thing I wasn't super clear of, like, are they going to erase the memories of the dad and the son? I'm assuming they are.
They did.
Is it actually?
Because the president, the headmaster of Hogwarts, just walks in the scene, and he's like, when he said about, "I'm taking points off for this," He just kind of looked at him and like flashed his ring for a second,
Oh, okay.
and
I
then the
missed that
kid and the
part.
dad both flashed red, and the kid was just like, "We need to finish our game."
Oh, right. That's right. Yeah, he jumps back to the can kicking. Like, oh yeah, like we were gonna kick the can. Let's do it.
And one of the more, I mean, a lot of the scenes are absurd. This one was, now this dad has no idea why his small son is hanging out with very adult teenagers.
Right.
He's like, "Hey, let's go play kick the can together." So the six of them all basically run to the fountain and do the tee hee hee. No, I'm gonna go first. No, you're gonna go first. And it seems weirder to have them do that now than it did before, with the kid
Totally.
having no idea who they are.
Well, because it's like, yeah, it's like my son who up until this moment I thought had no friends but a cactus, right? Like, and now I don't remember the cactus. So now I know my son has no friends, except for this teenage boy and his teenaged friends who are dressed very weirdly. And then this other adult man who's dressed like them but is standing back in the background. Like, what is happening? Like, you would be totally freaked out.
Like,
You'd be,
as any responsible adult or parent, I would think so for sure.
I would hope so. Yeah. And then, of course, the one thing I guess I forgot to mention is that before Hodoro captures the Kemi, like sucks him into the card, he grows a bloom. Toby, he has a flower that grows on him. It's
And
very cute.
as a general statement, getting cactuses to actually grow flowers, especially in not like cactal regions,
Yeah, that's what they call
is
it.
hard. Cactal regions, yeah. uh, it's the hardest goddamn thing ever. I had a plant called, I think they're desert rose cactuses, and it's not like a stabby cactus. It's very leafy and it looks more like a palm tree. I had it for, I think, 6 or 7 years. I got one flower to grow off of it one time in 7 years.
Oh wow.
Like it's they're extremely tough to actually get to bloom. So with that knowledge, I was like, yeah, look, this extra magic.
It truly is Disney magic.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah, I mean it is it's very special. He gets the little flower.
But so now, like, since he's not gonna remember anything else, so we wiped his brain. He has no idea about the life that he just had or anything fun. Like the flower's gonna die in a day or two, and then they're playing stupid kick the can games outside. So what good is, I know from the storytelling point, like him keeping the flower is like, this is a cute reminder moment, nice thing, whatever. But he's not gonna know what it means. He's gonna have a random flower in
Sure.
his
It's just a
coat
flower.
pocket, and it's gonna die. And he's gonna be like, "Oh, flower, whatever." Oh, actually, I accidentally crushed it. No, no big deal. It's just a random stupid thing I have.
Yeah, totally. And also from the like, I went through an ordeal and now I have changed. Like the father with his memory wiped, like why is he going to be any different? Like why is he going to suddenly be a good person now who wants his son to have a life instead of just being pure studying? Like he has no reason to be any different. He just knows that his son has adult friends who are playing kick the can with him now. There's no other incentive for, I don't know, you should maybe go play with some friends, right? Like
so I get,
um
so as always, the talking things out with you vibe of this. The only thing I can remotely think of then would be, since the kid doesn't remember and quote unquote never met the dumb plant, he wouldn't be distracted in his work or his schooling by the dumb plant. So maybe the dad just hates him because he had the plant, and now he forgot about the plant. His dad likes him again.
maybe, yeah.
That's the
I, I,
best. That's the best weird logic I can leap and try to do.
I think that they've painted themselves into a bit of a corner with this whole mind wipe thing, in the sense that like they either need to like stop doing it soon, or they're gonna have to keep coming up with like more and more convoluted reasons for it to work the way that it does. Or I guess just start ignoring it, right? Like tell your story, have it be emotional and touching, and then mind wipe, and just hope that no one catches on. And then now, like it doesn't actually have any effect now because you wiped all the memories. Like I guess you can just do that, but it's a weird conceit that they built in. Like we have to be so secretive, but like I don't know. There's a lot of like battles that they're doing and chemis that are bouncing around everywhere and that are happening in public, and they end up just mind wiping like the two people involved in the story, but not like not like everybody, I guess too. But I don't know. I hopefully the whole mind wipe stuff is like I don't know, it stops happening as much, but it has led to some funny scenes, like the like begging to not have his mind wiped and stuff like that has been pretty good.
Like that was definitely a good one. That was more dramatic and remotely meaningful than
Yeah,
perhaps this
yeah.
one.
And the like, wrestler G crying and stuff was a powerful scene. But like this week it just felt like we got to the mind wipe and you're just like, oh, okay, yeah, I guess we have to do that. Like it feels like we don't want to do that, but like, we got to because that's what we do.
That's the way the show works.
At some point Hodorous is gonna put his foot down about it, right? And be like, no, like these people deserve to have this memory of their friend. Like what the hell, man? Stop doing this.
There, I could see it coming up when it becomes someone he knows. And I can't, it's like, the whole vibe of it doesn't matter that much when it's just these random people. Like, even either Spanner or Spanner's buddy was mind wiped probably a couple episodes ago when they didn't remember each other. But I could
Yeah.
see, like, accidentally on purpose get, like, Hodoro's mom involved in one of the episodes or, like, one of the stories. Yeah. So then he's like, we're going to wipe your mom's brain. And he's going to lose his shit and be like, no, you're not. You can't. And they're going to do it anyway. And he's going to turn against the Alchemy Academy.
Ooh, I hope that happens. That's a great story.
Let me write some Kamen writers, is what I'm saying.
If that doesn't happen, you might have to write that fan fiction. That's all I'm saying.
It's going to be real short and to the point because I'm not good at that stuff.
I need to know what happens in that story. That sounds great. So, Toby, how did you feel about this as a resolution to our 2-part episode here?
I guess I'm so used to Kamen Rider now that just seems fine. It's just a thing. Like it, yeah. It makes sense. Logistically, it's all there. We had an adventure together, and people can't know about it. So of course, you just wiped their little brains.
Yeah, definitely. I liked this episode. I like that we figure out who the enemy was. Like I like that they kind of set that mystery up a little bit of like you didn't really know why this guy was angry or what he was about, and then of course it ties into to Riku and stuff. Like that was a cute little like mystery that only lasted an episode. I liked that. It was low stakes. It was fun to figure that out. Yeah, it was a nice little bow on top of the whole story. But, yeah, it was fun. I think that this season for sure, like this is the feel, this is the vibe, where it's just like everything is just like okay, that was nice. Like I like that. That was a good time.
This show is very slice of lifey more than I think it's.
Yeah. I think that's a good way to put it. Or like the end of a Geats episode, I'd be like, I can't believe that happened. I can't wait until the next episode. I got to figure out what the heck is going to happen after this cliffhanger. And the end of one of these episodes is like, that was fun. Yeah, I liked that. I'll do that again next week. Yeah, okay.
It's like having a nice cup of tea before bed.
It really is. Yeah, it really is. It's a totally different vibe, but I'm enjoying it.
One of my favorite little moments in this episode is, so I'm going to keep calling him Hero, the kid that uses the tablet to talk because he's very shy.
Yep.
Or has a tablet that has the tablet that talks. I think we established that the tablet does his own thing.
Yeah, because the tablet is named Isaac, and in this episode specifically, it like has independent thought, a kind of Samimaru at one point.
So, and not even that, but like when they're trying to figure out the tricks of the Dragonfly Chemi, they do a screen where it cuts to a picture of it, has some lists like the features and the story of the Chemi on a little cutscene shot thing. And since it talks and it just has its nice robot voice, all I could think of is like it's 100% a Pokedex.
Oh,
and they're just leaning into it now.
Yeah, like, they really are.
Like, oh, well, who's this Chemimon? And they're like, oh, it's Tonbo. It has exceptional flight ability, and it does this, and blah blah blah. So now we're getting full Pokemon with the Chemis.
The thing that I thought about Isaac in this episode was just last episode, which now in the show was just like a few minutes ago. Isaac was completely dead because he couldn't talk to Hodoro on the phone, and this episode Isaac was perfectly fine the whole time, so he must charge very quickly.
They knew they needed him.
Yep, gotta bring him back. All right, folks. Well, that's going to wrap it up for us for this week. Of course, as always, send those emails to cast@commonwritersucks.com and check out our Patreon. We have a Patreon where we have tons of bonus content that goes out there. We do Watch and React, where we watch along with an older Kamen Rider series. You get to watch it with us, hear our thoughts and our jokes as we watch along, kind of like Mystery Science Theater, but for Kamen Rider. And that's a ton of fun. We're watching X-Aid right now and coming up to the second movie very soon here.
They keep deflecting Josh from with wasted money on Pokemon cards, but yeah, we're getting there.
I'm so anxious to see this movie. So yeah, check that out. That's $3 a month on the Patreon. You get bonus content every single week. And you can find the links in the description here, but it's patreon.com/thecommentwriters. And yeah, we'll be back next week to find out what other slice of life happiness happens in the world of Gotchard. But until then, have a great week, everybody. Peace.